if I may, would you slate to the camera with your name and height, please?
Hi, my name is Kimberly Kidd, and I'm 5'6".
Great. All right, so take your time, whatever you want to do.
Are you guys always like this?
Pretty much. We've all known one another for a good while.
It must be nice to have friends like that.
Most of the time. So, how long have you lived here?
All my life.
Really? Ever had the urge to venture out and see the world?
Me? Sure. Well, I dream about it sometimes anyway.
What's stopping you?
Ooh, circumstances way out of my control and not to be discussed right now. I'm afraid this will always be my destiny right here.
What a waste. I mean, you're a beautiful woman, and you seem to have so much to offer the world.
This is my home.
Did I say something wrong? Why are you helping us?
You bring me hope.
So, Don, you grew up around here. You probably know all about the legend of Blood Lake.
Yes, I've heard much about it. It's a very sad story.
You mind?
Okay, sure. Long ago, there lived a great Comanche chief who was loved and adored by all his people. His name was Mugarara. It is said that Mugarara was visited by the Great Spirit during a vision the last night of the dark moon.
And what the hell's that? What? The moon thing. Or the lunar circle. Lasts about 3 days before a new crescent moon appears. You're such a geek. Some people call it the dark moon, but I call it the dead moon. It's a time for inner demons and visions, a time for renewal, a time for death. Well, thanks for that. Tell us more, Dawn.
So, the Great Spirit told Mugarara that he was so pleased with the way he and his people had maintained such peaceful harmony on the land. As a reward, the Great Spirit gave Mugarara the sacred staff of the Spirit and the secret words that would reveal a hoard of gold that lies beneath the lakes of the small lake.
Gold?
But this knowledge came with a price. And the secret of the lake and the sacred words were not to be revealed to anyone, or a horrible curse would be cast upon the land and its people.
What did he do? What do you think?
Mugarara accepted the offer.
Yes.
But it became too much for him. As the days passed, he couldn't keep it to himself. So it came to be that he confided in his daughter, Ayana.
Pretty name. I had an Indian name before I got kicked out of Scouts. Here, Chief penciled it. Watch it, Nick. Hey, just thought. Pen. Pencil. Seriously. You got kicked out of the Scouts. Boys, let her tell the story. Go ahead.
So, the day before Mugarara would accept his offer, Texas Rangers invaded his village. Every man, woman, and child were killed, except the chief and his daughter.
Wow. God, that's horrible.
Come to find out, the Rangers had been mistakenly dispatched by a lynch mob who had sworn this was the tribe that killed a mother and their baby during a nearby homestead.
Oh, shit. Bunch of dead Indians for nothing. That's hardcore. I'll have their revenge. Not when they're dead, Cupcake. What happened with the chief and his daughter?
Mugarara was tortured, and Ayana was forced to watch. It became too much for her to bear. So she divulged the secret of the lake in hopes that it would save her father's life.
But that didn't work.
They were both burnt alive. Afterwards, the captain and his men went down to the lake and recited the sacred words.
What happened?
The Great Spirit was so angered by its ruthlessness and their greed that he summoned his most powerful magic and put a curse on the lake.
What kind of curse?
The rangers were banished into the lake, never to return. But still, they say that the waters turned red that day.
Blood Lake.
Some say that Nugara still protects the secret of Blood Lake from those who dare ripple in its waters in the name of greed.
Yeah, so it's a cooler legend than I thought. And how much of this story do you believe?
Only those who are there know what really happened.
Okay. All right, so I want to do a piece of this again, but I'm not going to put you through the whole scene. It's very long. Take it from the top of 59.
Okay.
It's a pretty good launching place. Yeah, 59 to the end of the scene. And all I want you focused on this time, make it like you're telling the story of the Trail of Tears. It's this huge, devastating, tragic story. And while you never say it, it's your people. This is your it was a horrible thing. So when she tells the story, I want it to be a little sadder, a little more soulful.
Okay.
Okay? Take your time, and when you're ready.
So the day before Mugara would accept his offer, his village was invaded by Texas Rangers. Every man, woman, and child were killed, except for the chief and his daughter.
Oh my God, that's horrible.
Come to find out, the Rangers had been mistakenly dispatched by a lynch mob who had sworn this was the tribe that killed a mother and their baby during a raid at a nearby homestead.
Oh, shit. Bunch of dead Indians for nothing. That's hardcore. They'll have their revenge. Not when they're dead, Cupcake. What happened with the chief and his daughter?
Mugara was tortured, and Ayana had to watch. But it became way too much for her to bear, so she divulged the secret of the lake in the hopes that it would save her father's life.
I bet that didn't work.
No, they were both burnt alive. Afterwards, the Rangers walked down to the lake and recited the sacred words.
And what happened?
The Great Spirit was so angered by their ruthlessness and greed that he summoned his most powerful magic and put a curse on the lake.
What kind of curse?
The Rangers were banished into the lake, never to return. Some say the water turned red that day.
Blood Lake.
Some say that Mugara still protects the secret of Blood Lake from those who dare ripple in its waters in the name of greed.
Yes. So it's a cooler legend than I thought. How much of this story do you believe?
Only those who are there know